Rockin' Riders is a very rare and unusual extreme sports game. It was released in Japan only in 1999 for the PlayStation. It would see you take on the role of a group of band members that are wanted by the law, and your goal is to race across different environments using your snowboards, anything from deserts to futuristic environments, downhill mountain slopes, and you have to acquire instruments so that you can play at the end. So you'll have to hit certain characters on the screen in order to rob them of their instruments, but you also have to contend with the cops as well that are also on the track, and they will stop at nothing in order to take the items from you. So if they hit you at all, they'll steal everything back, which can make it quite tricky. The downside with it is that the game can be quite difficult, even though it's easy enough to pick up and play in terms of its controls and even in how it looks and feels. The problem is with it that in order to progress through each stage, you have to acquire every single instrument piece that's available. Like if there's a couple of different characters, say for instance 5 across the track, you have to make sure that you hit all of those 5 and acquire every single piece of item that's available without losing it, that is. But if one of the cops hits you, they steal everything, and which means that you get to the end and you can't progress. You'll have failed the mission and you have to start it all over again. And the same can be said even if you have acquired a couple of the instrument items, like even if you have 1 or even 2 or 3, if you don't get all of the full amount of items that's in the level, you'll never be able to finish it. It literally will fail all the time, which makes the game extremely difficult, especially for a more casual player. Now it's doable, but it will test your patience, let's just put it that way, make no mistake. But it is fun, I have to say, and what it does really have going for it is that it's got a really good music or grunge soundtrack, and it has a couple of mini games involved as well, where you can play some of the characters and you can utilise different button combinations where you'll be able to play different riffs in the guitars or the different types of instruments so that you can piece together your own segments, which is really cool. Mind you, I'm not very good at being able to play music. I never was really able to adapt to it, even growing up, but I love listening to music, don't get me wrong, but to be able to play it, well, that's a whole different thing altogether. But at least in this game it allows you to try at a basic level, although not too well, but at least you can try, but it's fun.
Go!
Like, on paper, the gameplay and the idea behind it sounds simplistic, but again, like I said, it's not easy to master. It's a very tough game. Very few people even know about this, in fairness. But it definitely offers up something different, especially if you're a fan of extreme sports games, more so even snowboarding games on the PlayStation. It really has a cool dynamic to it that's just different from everything else that was released on the PlayStation. And again, this was also released around the time when extreme sports games were really trending and just taking off within the video game scene itself. So there's enough to get through here. All of the characters all have their own distinctive traits and abilities, and you will need to play through and try and complete the game with every character in order to achieve everything within the game. But mind you, like I said, it won't be an easy task. But once you manage to finish that, there will be an extra game mode available that again will allow you to acquire and use all of the items that you have gained, while adding in a few additional elements to pretty much increase the longevity of the game. But I do keep going back to the point that it is tricky to master, because it is. Even myself playing this, it took me quite a few tries just to get one good run even at the first level, but then by the time I got into the second level, sure, I just got wiped out straight away. And again, the same thing happens. It will take multiple tries in order just to get one good run. So if you're anyway inclined to not have much patience with these type of games, it might not be the best game for you to play, in fairness, because it will just drive you crazy. But for those that are more persistent, which I'll admit I was back in the day when I was younger, but not so much these days as I've gotten older, I don't have the same patience for these type of games, even though they are enjoyable in short bursts. But I couldn't sit playing them for hours anymore. I really couldn't. I would just drive myself crazy. But for those that want a challenge, definitely give this one a go. But for those that will get frustrated easily, yeah, there's other games on the system that you can play, in fairness, there really is. But regardless of what I think of the game, I'd love to know your thoughts of Rockin' Riders for the PlayStation. Have you played this game at all? Do you know anything about it? Did you even know that it existed? And are you a fan of extreme sports or even snowboarding games that were released on the console during that time? It will be interesting to hear your thoughts of this, so be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content which I have already covered on the channel around games like this that were already released on the PlayStation, then you can leave a like on the video, and be sure to check out this playlist here to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.